Whoa, where's my, hold on a second. There we go. Hello, my friends. How are you? Welcome to another month of Ballroom Mastery Access. It's awesome to have you here. Thank you for your questions. And I just got back from Blackpool. What a crazy trip that was. It was 20, so from Australia to there is a 27-hour flight, okay? That's with a very quick interchange, so an hour and a half in Singapore to swap. So it is a lot of time on the plane both ways. And then 3 days of competition. My student did very well. She's only done 2 international competitions. In fact, really, she's only ever done 3 championships in her whole life. So she's done very well to get onto that main stage. And it's really cool because I had people from South Africa come up and be like, oh, thanks for teaching my husband how to count the slow foxtrot. I was like, you're welcome. Is he doing well? All right. So we're all part of a big community, whether you are in Idaho, right, or you are in the middle of nowhere in South Africa, okay? We all love dance. We share a common passion and a common interest, and it's awesome that you're still here. So keep tuning in and participating, right? So submit your questions every single month. That's very, very important. What happens, I've noticed, it's like a gym membership. So, you know, have you ever joined a gym or made one of those resolutions at the beginning of the year, and then 2 months in, maybe even a week in, hell, 2 days in, you're like, whoops, and you've dropped the ball? That's what happens with things like these membership programs. Doesn't matter what type of membership program or how passionate you are, it can be very easy to let life take over, or for you to get a bit distracted and be like, I'll do it later. I'm guilty of this, right? So we're not perfect, but you've got to play the game, right? There is a game being played and you've got to play. And to play to win, which is what I like to do, and not playing to lose, hopefully, is submit questions, right? It seems basic. Send me your videos. Now, I can't promise every month that I'll go through things. Like today, I'm going to use a video again from Dave that you sent through to go over again. But I can't promise every month I'll do that all the time. I don't want to set an unrealistic expectation, but I like this video because of I can see the progress. So I'm very excited to see that, and it's nice for other people to track it. But guys, girls, don't be afraid. Send your damn videos in, all right? It's really cool. It's a great measuring stick over time as well. Make sure you do it in a format that I can watch. So sometimes they come through as an audio. I'm not sure why, but if you record off your iPhone or your Android, it should be okay. Send them through, have the courage, and definitely submit your questions. Very, very important to these Q&As continuing to go, okay? So now, I've got a little commentary question here from Jean in Canada. I really appreciate you, by the way. And look, remember, as part of your membership here, every year, you can gift a subscription to somebody that you like, a dancer that you know would benefit tremendously from this. All they have to do is follow the link with the code, and then they have to input their credit card details, because after a year, you should tell them this, after a year, they will need to pay, okay? So they get a free year, but then they're gonna need to pay later on. It's a very generous gift that you can give someone, all right? It's only one per member, so pick wisely. Sometimes that can be your partner, of course, but I would suggest doing it with like a friend. And it's a way for me to give back to the community, but it's also a way for me, of course, to grow memberships. So again, the chances of that person continuing to go and to do it to the level you are is not going to be the same. I found most people that are committed, well, they're not going to be as committed as you. All right, always keep that in mind. You're a weirdo like me. You're part of a small group of people who are nuts. Okay, we just love what we do and we go all in. Yeah. So, Jean, you wrote a bit of commentary I want to quickly touch on. So let me know about that, friend. Hi, Vaughan. First, let me tell you, I love your program and I can't wait for each of your weekly episodes. Very well done. Thank you. That's great. I'm getting close to the midpoint, so week 28, and I don't, so this is Dance at Home, and I don't know if there will be a few episodes dedicated on the general rules on how to lead. I understand that each style of dance and even each figure has its own particularities when it comes to lead and follow, but perhaps you could expand a bit on the topic. Most likely, some figures or variations can only be executed into choreography, as leading it on the fly would not be possible. Most likely, some figures can only be executed. Okay, I'll touch on that in a sec. Maybe you can recommend some material that tackles this. I'm not looking for a magical quick fix, but effective generalities that can assist us into the context of social dancing, for example. Thanks for what you do for us. Sorry I won't be able to watch you live because of the time zone. No problem. Yeah, time zones are a bit funny. I've had to make a few changes, but trying to be consistent, and I appreciate those who can tune in live. And like, so there's lots of people that watch this stuff that don't come live, right? They watch the replays, they don't comment, but they're watching. And that's what I care about, the fact that you're getting the content. Now, in terms of lead and follow, here's the quick answer. I created Ballroom Mastery Academy and then Ballroom Mastery Academy Next Level, two adjacent courses that work with Dance at Home because of this specific problem, Gene. Listen, there are 450 plus videos in Dance at Home. And what are they all focused on? The syllabus of ballroom and Latin dancing, right? So I could not possibly go through all the intricacies of what it takes to dance, because that purpose of that program, the outcome of that program is actually to teach steps and have a reference you can always go back to, which, like, for example, Dave, I know he uses that quite extensively. So it's not a one and done course. And I knew making it, I was like, but there are so many factors like lead and follow, musicality, your body balance, right? So there's a few pillars outside of footwork, timing, and posture, right? They're sort of your fundamentals to get going as a beginner. But overall in ballroom dancing, it's about, and Latin, it's about rhythm, it's about poise, and it's about balance, right? So we need to sort of get those three things. There's definitely a fourth one, I can't remember what it is. There's those three things though, very, 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 very important. Rhythm, poise, balance. So if you look at those as sort of an overarching idea, well, I can't teach all these steps and then talk about those. Those principles have to be deployed in all those videos, right? So yes, in terms of generalities for leading and follow, it's very simple. The man invites the lady to do a step. The lady thinks about it, and then she responds. And then she dances her step. So the man does not make her dance the step. she's invited. Then she takes over and dances the step, her body in fullness, whatever the rhythm is, whatever the step is. She has to be responsible for the way her body moves, the skill of that, the balance, the poise, the rhythm of her own body. And then that's sort of connected together. So in Latin American, it's togetherness. In ballroom dancing, it's a very similar idea. The man initiates the movement through a lead, right? So he sort of proposes the movement, if you will. We're going to go this way. And then the lady responds in kind by following that rise or following that fall, right? In the direction that the body is going, forward or backward, sideways. And she creates her own movement after the lead is given, right? And so that sort of works together and you're dancing as one. Now, in terms of the practicality of that, there's sort of 8 steps in an actual module, a full-on dedicated module where I have a partner demonstrating with me in Ballroom Mastery Academy Next Level. And if anyone's forgotten about that course, go back and watch that about the lead and follow episodes. This will also, Diane, this will also come back to you for Tango when we look at musicality and music in one of your questions later on. There's a whole section there on different ways to count the music, right? And the way you think about music is in a you've got your just what the standard count of it is, and then there's like an advanced way to count. Okay, so that's sort of the 2 ways to count music. Now, again, why? Well, because if I did that on every single video for a step, those videos would go longer, and they're sort of different skills that will go across like an umbrella all of Dance at Home. So feel free to join Ballroom Mastery Academy. Let me know if you need a link to join. And then you can go through the 6 courses there. Once you finish that, you get an invitation to join the next level. You cannot join the next level unless you've been through the academy, because you'll see in the academy, it's a very specific way to train your body. It's a way of thinking. There's things there for social dancing, for performing. There's, of course, exercises for every single dance, how to create pictures with your body and how to move properly, right? So all of that stuff, the diamond principles of weight and timing and balance, those are all in there, right? And posture. So yeah, that's the answer to your question. Just keep in mind that when it comes to, say, Latin American, this is an important point that I'll come on to. You said here, most likely figures or variations can only be executed into choreography as leading on the flow would not be possible. When you get to a very high level of dance, both partners, you can get to a point where you can lead virtually 95% of the steps unscripted. Very difficult to do. In like samba would be harder than rumba, for example, but it's possible. And then, why is that? Well, because all those principles in, say, Ballroom Mastery Academy Next Level have been mastered, right? They're the things that you can do. You've got your own balance and poise. And with that, the saying with balance and poise that everyone should understand, with the correct balance, with the correct poise, you dance when you want, not because you have to. And let me say that again. With the correct balance and poise, you dance when you want, not because you have to. So an easy example of that is when you lose balance, you have to move, don't you? So if you don't have perfect, maybe not the right word, but if you don't have total ability to create balance and poise in your ballroom dancing or your Latin dancing, you dance because you have to. The music's saying you got to go. You know you're too slow, so you're trying to go faster, right? You're not actually right on it in total control of yourself. You understand? So that's why balance and poise is so fundamental, which means posture, right? And knowing how to finish steps, which is how to complete the technique for a certain step, i.e. what's in Dance at Home. Now, so what this means is it's not just one answer, yeah? So in Latin American, for example, we have different types of leads depending on the steps. There's only a few steps where the lady is reliant on the man for her balance. You understand? Most of the time, she should be on her own legs. There's some steps, of course, where the man is going to need to support her completely so she doesn't fall over, right? So outside of those, there are different ways that we create lead. And so we have that I do mention if it's necessary in Dance at Home. I'll say in this step, this is very important for the man to do, right? In this step, this is important for the lady to do. Unless it's not necessary, because half of my battle is what not to say, yeah? And I do like to talk, but only hopefully what matters, all right? Not extra. So let's get into, why did I put that there? I'm going to do this one moment. Okay, that was dramatic. All right, don't know what happened there, but there was supposed to be a title intro. I don't think anything happened there. So I'm gonna have my coffee, make sure we get into this. That was supposed to be tango. So what? Why? Why did it? Okay, we don't ask questions when it comes to technology, do we? We just roll with it, guys. Just roll with it. Okay. So Diane, advanced timing on the slow following two quicks. I've just been listening to the fact that you can have an early and late slow following two quicks. My mind is blown. Tell me more. Are there more variations out there? Your mind is blown. That's awesome. Well, I don't, when I have questions like that, I understand what they're saying. Sometimes I think coaches just say stuff to make it sound more impressive than it needs to be. There's some basic principles in ballroom dancing, yeah, in music. All right. So first of all, let's start at the top and work our way down. And we'll start with the fundamental of timing and then talk about the advanced timing. So with tango, what is the character of the dance? Can anyone answer? What is the look of the dance? It starts with S. It's not sexy. Staccato, right? Staccato. So we also have rubato, uh, which is like when you, this is like where you delay the music. Oh, sorry, legato, sorry, legato. Legato is where you delay the music, okay? So it's a musical thing, right? You're lengthening a beat of music longer than you probably need to, right? So you're trying to hold it a bit longer. We can do that at an advanced level in dancing, right? You can do whatever you want, really. Then there's retardo, I think it is, which is a fantastic word, right? So, you know, you don't sound like you're insulting someone if you say you're dancing retardo. And really what they're doing is dancing off time and then catching back up on it, right? But again, that's a very advanced concept. The point is staccato rhythm. How do we create staccato rhythm? That's something I'm actually going to read to you. I've got a really good extract here that I would like to talk through for all of us so you can really dial in, hey, how does timing work in tango? How is it developed and its sort of origins in that sense? So you can make sense of when people throw out sentences like that, okay? Because I don't know the context of exactly what they're saying, but yeah, we can take a step that's slow, quick, quick, slow, and there is a way that you should dance it and there's a way that you shouldn't. And at advanced level, meaning like a professional, yes, we have license to do more. But on a basic step, you don't really change the timing. You don't take that staccato rhythm and then make the whole thing legato and just draw it out, right? So, I mean, you can, but it's not going to look very good. Now, so for those who would like a little bit of a history lesson on tango, I thought this would be fascinating to share. So let me get your coffee. Let me just read this to you. So in terms of music, tango music was first used by the Romani family of Middle Europe. On their immigration to South America, many settled in Argentina, where the dance developed into hostelries and bordellos. The dance the dance spread to all of society and is still danced today as Argentine tango, a fascinating dance with intricate rhythm and movement. When the rhythm was introduced to European dancers, the orchestras of the day provide a strong staccato rhythm, rather than the more sensuous sound that is still heard in Argentine tango. Many people throughout the world study the dance to this music as a separate dance to that of our competition dances. And it is. Argentine tango music is different to ours. Remember, we are strict tempo, which means that this is why like each beat is equal, right? So we're not delaying, even though we can as a dancer, the music and the beats do not delay. So tango music was written in what is known as 2/4 time signature. Okay, so 2 beats to a bar. This means there's 2 full beats in each bar of music, and the dancers signify 2 slow counts. Okay. Over the years, the professions accepted 2/4 time as counted in the beats and bars as follows: 1 and 2 and 2 and 2 and. Now, first of all, did you know that? That is actually how you count tango. So we count slow, quick, quick, slow, for example, but you really count 1 and 2 and 2 and 2 and. It's a bit harder, it's a bit weirder, but you do. Okay, each number, including the and, is equivalent to a slow. So if I go 1 and, there's my slow. If I go 1 and 2 and, that'll be slow for the 1 and, then 2 and is quick, quick. Okay, 1 and 2 and. Now, this has encouraged the staccato feeling in the music. All right, you heard how I counted it? Yeah. However, in recent years, modern tango music's also been written in 4/4 time. And you can hear this when you look at a lot of modern competitions, it's actually 4/4 time. So, and we'll explain what that means in a minute. So the requirement of dancing 2-bar phrases has led to the teaching count of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Each number being an equivalent to 1 quick. Now, 2 numbers together make a slow. So if you've got 4/4 time, it's very easy. It's the same rule as Foxtrot and Quickstep, where you'd have 2 beats equaling a slow. 1, 2 would be slow, quick, quick would be 3, 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4 would be slow, quick, quick, right? That's with 4/4 timing in the music. Each number being equivalent to 1 quick. So whichever method is chosen, this is where it's important, okay? So whichever method is chosen to count the figure, a strong accent on both the musical beats in 2/4 time and on beats 1 and 3 in 4/4 time must be applied. This is essential to create the sharpness of the movement in the various turns that are danced. The accented beats are underlined. So we've got 1, 3, 5, 7, right? If you're counting in 4/4 time. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? See the accent? That's why you got to count as you want to dance, nice and strong. So the accented beats are what we just did. The rhythm in the charts is normally 4/4 time. So most music, modern music, 4/4 time. You listen to Blackpool music, 2/4 time, right? That's typical. So as in the swing dances, it's important to understand the 4/4 time when completing the weight change. Now, I have a video on my YouTube channel you should watch called the 80-20 rule. I'll talk about it now anyway. I'm about to demonstrate with you. But this is important to understand because what you're referring to in your question, besides the actual, and I'm talking about timing here just as a frame, is you're talking also about the way we collect our weight. That to me is more important because if you can't control your weight between a step, you actually can't, for example, have a late slow, all right? Because you don't have the control. So remember what we said in the beginning, we need to have the balance and the poise working together, don't we? If we can do that and we can understand what the timing is for our steps, slow, quick, quick, slow, for example, we have now the framework to try and make that sharp, make that delayed, make this longer, make that shorter, right? And so I want to keep going before I get into this on with the demonstration. Keep following with me. So there's a definite sound in good tango music between beat 4 and the following first beat of the next bar, okay? Which may be counted A, ah. We're not going to worry about the R's. I don't want to use that. This is where it gets advanced. So I'll wrap up the lesson on this in a second. The tango is known as a staccato dance, but there is also a smoothness to the music because of the different instruments used in the orchestra. Therefore, a dance showing good character will employ both musical definition, staccato and legato, sharp and smooth. For example, 2 slow walks, will be danced smoothly, legato. So what did you say here? You can have early and late slows. Maybe that's what they mean. Okay, so 2 slow walks, slow, slow is danced smoothly, legato rhythm, with a continuous feeling of movement. As for progressive link, it will be danced to stop the movement sharply, staccato, quick, quick. Yeah. As a contrast, stillness is essential quality for the advanced dancer to develop. It is the ability to move quickly into the shape and then hold that position for the remainder of the beats to be danced. It's not being late. By holding the shape for longer than its time value and then dancing out of time. So what does this all mean? Let's have a look at this on the big screen. Okay, so if we look at this in practical sense, okay, should be able to see me, very good. Okay, so let's look at our walks, for example. So we got your tango walks, you're going to be going slow, slow. So you can see that the weight is behind the foot, and then I continue onto the leg for the remainder of the beat. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So we actually complete the full transference as you start the next step. That's a good tip for tango walks, right? So 5, 6, and then 7, 8. And then next one, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, if you've got a quick, so we'll do 2 walks and a link, right? So you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and you want to hold that, then you can move out. Okay, so 5, 6 was in 4/4 time, right? Or we can go 1 and 2 and 2 and. See, I've got the rest of that and to chill and then move out on that slow. Do you understand? So if we look at now again, it depends on the figure, how many quicks, how many ands are in it, how many slows, but think of the rhythm count of tango of being slows and quicks, okay? And then under that, we look at beats and bars, right? So and then under that is actually an advanced layer. So if I go slow, quick, quick, the beats and bars of that will be 1, 2, 3, 4. But then the advanced way to count that would be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and The little makes its appearance again. But that's the third level, and we don't need to worry about that. It's really, really advanced. So I'm going to come on to a teaching tip here, right? So on slow walks, create this. Where's my thing? My face. So on slow walks, create the step. You're going to listen to this a few times. On slow walks in tango, create a step as a quick count and make it a slow count with the continuation of the weight change being used on the second quick. Think squeeze and slight delay before the movement's created, then move quickly to end slowly to complete the slow count. I love the wordplay, okay? Let's just make that so simple, hey? And nod your head like you understand, right? All it's saying is that a slow, 2 beats of music can be danced as a quick, right? So quick, quick would equate to a slow, right? So we think of the beginning of tango steps. So for example, if I'm in promenade and I want to do my closed promenade, this first step right here is slow. Now that I actually want to take that as a very strong movement, slow. But you notice the power, right? I'm not actually making it legato like the walks. I'm not going slow. You understand? I want to make the first beat fast and the second beat where my weight fully transfers. And that's what's slowed down. That's what that's saying. So I'm going to go slow, then quick. There's the third beat. So that's sharp. I step, then I'm going to flick the foot, and then I'm going to close. So you can see I've got different rhythm now. It's not just going slow, quick, quick, slow. That's actually like no rhythm, is it? All right, because what's rhythm? Well, where's the accents? Where am I showing the correct delay in the music, right? So I want to be going 1, 2, 3, 4, close. Yeah? Or 1 and 2 and 2 and. All right? But I like slow, quick, quick, slow, slow, quick, quick, slow. So you start to see like the way the feet are being used, there's a quality to the rhythm. So this is one thing I encourage all dancers to know. If you can count to timing, fist pump. That's awesome. That doesn't mean you have rhythm, right? So you might be counting on time and dancing on time, but unless you understand, for example, in waltz, so Dave, in your waltz, for example, 1 is your strong accent. So that's where that beat should look different to beat 2 and 3, yeah? In tango, as we're saying with 4/4 time, we have count beats 1, 3, 5, and 7 as the accents. They should have a strength to them that you don't see on 2, 4, 6, and 8. All right. And if I count 1 and 2 and 2 and 2 and, there's going to be strong accents, aren't there, on that first beat? 1 and 2 and 2 and 2 and, right? So the thing is, play with that. All right. Play with that, Diane, because where it gets complicated is now in choreography. So we've just given you like a massive framework for tango counting and rhythm. And using basics, you can sort of see, oh, that slow was different in promenade was different to the walks, right? Where I was trying to make that smooth movement. Then my quick quick was punchy, where I had staccato movement. Then I went back into a slow for the promenade, closed promenade. That very first step though, I wanted to dance it differently, didn't I? So it was strong on the first beat and then slowed down on the second beat. You understand? So that's where you can start to see the rhythm changes. Now, if you have advanced steps like the Spanish drag, well, that's where you can have like, you might do a chasse and go like quick and quick, quick. So there's your 2 quicks. And then you might have a very long slow just because musically you want a lot more time. So you can change it depending on the choreography. And that's where your coach needs to explain this step we're going to do like this. But always remember there's an underlying foundation to these rules, right? I hope that helps you. I would encourage you to probably go back through this lesson and take some notes on it because you've just gotten like the gold mine of information on like timing, which is really, really powerful. Now, you can also count along with me in Ballroom Mastery Academy Next Level. I go through counting the different ways to work with Tango. Okay, so this is fun. You having fun? I'm having fun. And I'm waiting for the delayed long introduction. Let's just see how we go. All right. This one's from Kevin. What's up in the UK? Hi, Vaughan. I previously asked you to demonstrate. Yeah, thanks for that. Okay, Quickstep. No, I'm just kidding. To going into and doing the pepper pot from the scatter chassé and the Quickstep. I believe I've mastered it, but the dance teacher is not happy with how I do. And no dance teacher's happy. Come on now, right? Like we're never happy. We're never satisfied. Like it's like you finally get it, and it's like cool. Here's the new thing you're doing wrong. Apparently, I'm doing it with straight legs. No, you shouldn't be doing it with straight legs, okay? And should have a relaxed upper body and do the chassés with the knees slightly bent and turn inward slightly, as if knocking knees. Yeah, like that just helps to keep the center of your body in the right spot. So, and do them on the ball or the feet to be light and use less effort. Yes, that's true. We do 3 scatter chassés into the pepper pot. Also, we do the pendulum points, and we should keep the upper body upright and just use straight legs to do the pendulums. Can you explain and demonstrate? Thanks. Of course I can demonstrate. I would love to. I'm just kidding you. I've still got jet lag, so my brain feels like an aquarium right now. So, okay. So, what are the pendulum points? A while ago, Ulrich was talking about this. He sent me a video about the pendulum points in Quickstep. It's a very popular trick figure in advanced choreography for the Quickstep. All right, it's danced in place. You create a light, interesting foot pattern. It's normally one of very strong movement, and it can be danced in normal hold, in promenade, right? So you provide the lady with stable balance. Now, a couple of things here. I've got some like teaching tips on this. With the feeling of this, it's a spring. It's a light spring foot to foot. So I might get on first of all, let's have a look at the actual figure so we know what we're talking about. As for the man, the lady will do the normal opposite. So we'll just start with the weight on the left foot, okay? And then I'm gonna have my right foot close with a spring. And as I do that, I'm gonna put my left foot out to the side, out to the side, out to the side. And then on the last one, you spring off. So there's 4, but really the last one is you transferring weight. And remember, you're in promenade, right? So now, for reference, that's going to be diagonal to wall. So there's my line of dance. So these things are moving sideways, boom, boom, like that. Okay, so you're not turning your hips diagonal to wall. The hips are almost diagonal to wall against the line of dance. So you're looking there. So we're going to get that little spring again. So we go quick, 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 and then quick. So that last one still becomes a pendulum, but you can see it's because I've sprung off to move. And that way I've got a energy to move into, say, any natural figure. Okay, so now what you're saying, I'm not sure, did you say where you do this in your actual routine? Okay, yeah, so yeah, I'm not sure where they're done in this routine, but so you've got your pendulum points, scatter chassés and pepper pots, so they're not necessarily connecting, they might have one connecting figure, right? Okay, so now in terms of the actual step, let's look at I mean, I set this up so I have to use it, right? Let's get that, what the hell? 1 second, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get a live action feed. There we go, feet cam, oh yeah. Okay, so, and I'll just move this a little bit out of the view. Okay, so, all right, now, if we look at this in a little bit more detail, we've got the right foot closing, balls of the feet, right? And it's a light spring. So we go spring, 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 spring. So you notice the knees, they're never straight. All right, so I've got these tight pants on for a reason, so you can see. So this would be on straight legs, right? So there. So it'd be very harsh if I did this. And I'd look like a weird Irish dancer, an Irish dancer who got fired and can't do ballroom dancing. So the idea, soften the knees. See my knees are in a little bit too, right? Boom, 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 and then boom. So you have to make sure you do this with light spring, but you don't bounce. Okay, so too much bouncing, you're going to look really, really weird. Ladies, of course, if you do the opposite, right? So you'd be on the right foot. I'll do it this way, right? You go spring, 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 and then move off, boom. Now, one of the things you want to try to do as well is shape the foot. So when you do these kicks, for example, note my foot, this leg is not straight, slightly flexed, and I'm shaping the foot down. So not like this, not turned out, right? Not hooked. So I want to make sure the feet shape, boom, boom. So that feeling, bum, ba da dun, da da dun, da da da, da da. Okay. So with that in mind, you practice. What am I doing? With that in mind, you practice that lightness. And in terms of the upper body, this is one of the teaching tips I can give you. The upper body should look still and it shouldn't be going like this. So if I were to dance just the upper body from you in front here, when I do pendulum points, you shouldn't see this. See that there? You're trying to swing the legs like a pendulum and keep the body balanced and upright. So of course there'll be movement, but you're not bouncing. That's a very, very common mistake, right? Okay, so there's a slight rise, but you're not bouncing like a crazy person, missing their crack. Okay, let's see. Yeah, I think that's probably the easiest way to explain that. So I hope that helps. I want you to practice that. Show me how that looks, and let's get into two of the videos, and then we'll finish up for the day. If anyone's got any questions, feel free to chuck them in. And where are we here? Elizabeth, okay. So I had to do it like this, but if you can send, because the video didn't really come up very well. Okay, I'll just put that over there. Okay, yeah, so I couldn't download it properly. That's all right. Now let's have a little look-see at what you're doing here.
Got to smile as well.
Okay, so I have a few things I want to talk about here. Let's just let that play again.
Got to smile as well.
Because you're waltz mad people today, I'm going to play Dave's as well. So that way we can look at the two. And I can talk about the waltz in an overall context and then to you both specifically. What? What just happened there? Did like a lock into the chest. So there's a few errors there, but Dave, that I can okay. Listen, the good thing is, for both of you, I can see for sure, better movement, especially at the beginning. I can see you hitting the one a lot more throughout the dance a bit more, and you're going higher onto your toes, but then that fades off, right? So you're definitely getting better, and you're improving and listening to the suggestions and trying it out, which is really good. There seem to be a couple of mistakes there where, like, I think, I don't know if you're supposed to close your feet, and then you passed your feet by accident. Things like that are important because the moment of collection with your feet as a couple is like the penultimate thing. So when your feet collect, for example, with the close, you should lower and then you've got to fall at the same time, right? So I had a student recently who would stay up on their toes. Like the guy loved dancing up on his toes, right? So he would close his feet, whoom, and then he'd go up, 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 and he would like stay here, and then he would try to step. Whereas what we have to do is remember that we lower the feet, so we lower the closing foot, so left foot comes in, for example. I lower that heel, my knees have to continue to lower because that creates the fall. So that moment there is where we actually get the opportunity to lead, to change direction, to encourage the lady, this is the way we're going. And it's really easy because of the speed, even though it's a slow waltz, to miss that opportunity and to go through into the next step. And you actually create poor quality of movement if you don't rise together and don't lower together, right? So this is why it's an art. It's sort of a very precision, sort of fine-tuned thing. Now, what's the saying? So I'll deal with Elizabeth and Graham first. You guys have a very nice vibe on the floor, by the way. Excuse me, I need a quick drink. My God, that was good. Oh, that hit the spot. Okay, so timing, guys. You're off time. So number one, don't be off time. I want to fix that. Okay, so if you want that as a benchmark, you'll know the next time you dance a waltz, top to bottom, you'll be on time, all the time. Okay, now to be fair, you do have a difficult song. That Perfect Day song is what I'd call an advanced song to dance to. So if you try something with a little bit more of a stronger beat, you'll be good. But they do look good together. You guys do look good together when you dance. Now, I'm going to refer to Graham a little bit on this one. There's a few things I want to talk about here, which would be good. The use of CBM. So what does everyone know about CBM in ballroom dancing? What is it? What is it, ladies and gentlemen? What is CBM? Contra body movement, yeah? What does it mean though? What does it mean? So contra body movement is the body creating, it happens naturally. So when I walk, my opposite side will go towards the moving foot. All right, so if I want to turn, what do I do? Well, if I use my right foot, for example, my left side will move towards the right foot. So that is CBM. It's just the opposite side of the body going towards the foot. And we use that to turn. Now, this has to be done in conjunction with driving forward correctly. And this is good for you too, Dave. So the forward drive for both of you is not very good. You can do better, right? So meaning every time you go forward, even if you're creating a turn, that actual drive itself, you have to use the heel stronger by lowering and pushing it through the floor. I don't like the word pushing, but that's what it will feel like. You'll be connected to the floor. And that's your strong drive. Now, why? Because at the end of that, your body weight gets pulled over the leg and then up into the next step. That's how you create the beautiful rise and fall and the swing of ballroom, right? You've got this movement of the leg driving, the energy goes forward, then you go pulled over the leg and then up and then back down. And this is the part you're missing, Dave, that lowering, right? Because as soon as you go up and lower, then the energy has to keep going into the next step. And you'll feel the body weight literally swing. It's like the breeze goes through whatever hair is left on your head, right? Okay, so now the drive forward for you, Graham, Dave, gentlemen, ladies too, strongly on the heel. Okay, get that right. As you do that, we have CBM. So in ballroom dancing, every step, even in tango, has CBM. Contra body movement is not swing. Okay, swing we do not have in tango, but we have CBM. So this is why we've got to understand the difference. Our body action, the movement in our body, is going to be used a certain way in all the dances. So if I want to turn, I'm going forward, all right, but my body doesn't stay here. What does my body do? It's got CBM on step one. So I'm starting my body to turn that way. That way, as I get into my next step, which is really a sideways step, you see where my body is. I've created the turn, no more CBM is needed. Then I close with a swivel and lower. Now, as I go backwards, what happens? CBM. So my right side is turning towards my left foot. So you can notice that strength there, 1. And now I can just point, close, and lower. Why is this important? Because what is happening here is you're not understanding how much strength to have in your CBM. So what do I mean by the strength? Do you like coffee? Okay, pretend you do if you don't, but there are different strengths to coffee. We have decaf, and who the hell, why bother, right? Why bother, right? Why bother? Okay, what a wasted life, decaf coffee. And then you have just your straight up normal 1 shot of espresso, okay? And then you have what I had this morning, a triple shot, okay? You just skip the double, straight to the triple. The point is that let's say you got 3 strengths of that coffee, decaf, single shot, triple shot. Which one is stronger, all right? Now, the idea being in certain figures, you have to assume some is going to have the decaf amount and some is going to have the triple. Now, let me ask you, Graham, and of course, Dave and anyone else that's tuning in for their Waltz, and ladies too. What step do you think has the strongest CBM of them all? All right, which one? I'll give you a second to think about it. All right, now which one would have the least amount of CBM? And then the middle ground is the normal amount, just a normal amount, right? So let's look at this in the context of ballroom dancing, the waltz, right? So if I go and I do a change step, that is going to have my decaf amount. So when I go forward, I'm still creating a little bit of CBM in my body. So I go to the right, then I go side and slightly forward, and I close and lower. That is the least amount of CBM I'll ever have in my waltz, basically. Because why? My body didn't have this substantial amount of turn, yeah? Now, from there, if I do a natural turn, I will have my 1 shot of espresso. I'll have my normal amount. So my left side should be swinging around, and I should also be turning through the left side of my body and driving forward. So 1, then to the side, 2, and then close 3. So my CBM was normal. So the single shot of espresso, as this analogy goes, is going to be the normal amount that you would have to create a normal turn in ballroom dancing. All right, so your natural turn, your reverse turn. Now, when you have the triple shot, where would you have that? Did you answer it? Did you figure it out? It is on a pivot. So if I want to create a pivot or a rotation, a strong rotation, like a double reverse spin, that's going to have my triple espresso. Why is that important to note? Because if I try to use my decaf amount, like you're doing, okay, you're going to be underperforming, all right? And no dude, hear me out, brothers, wants to underperform, okay? You don't want to be told by a lady, you're underperforming today. It's like, no, you don't want those words, right? So when you close your feet, if I go back to do a pivot in the spin turn, and I go back with like a weak ass amount of CBM, the lady, you'll see it when I show you, the lady is going to struggle to actually get around you because you have completely blown it out of the water. Now with CBM itself, so I'll give you the example here. We'll do our change step again. So it's got like the decaf amount. So 1, 2, 3, then the normal 1, 2, 3. Now from here, I've got the strongest amount of CBM, 1, 2, and then 3. So you'll notice, what did my body do, right? My left side, as I turned back, right, had the strongest amount of rotation. Why? Because it's a pivot. So I've got to go back, strongly turn 1, then come out, heel, and then back down, 2, 3. So you notice that, right? And it looks smooth and all that sort of thing. Now, the question for everyone here, when we're talking about CBM, contra body movement, when does it happen? This is probably the key takeaway. I'll give you some time. Tick, tick, tick. When does it happen? And the answer is simultaneously to when you step. Say it with me, people. Simultaneously, okay? I'm pretty sure my neighbors think I'm mad because I'm like, they're like, there's no response. I talk to myself all the time on this camera, right? So if I go back, I'm going to demonstrate this poorly with my feet first, just so you can understand. Okay, so if I do a pivot, This thing is looking bad down there. All right, so if I do a pivot, okay, what do I have to do? My foot turns in, I step down the line of dance, boom, my right foot remains in CBMP, and then I go forward. Now, the thing is, if I go back first and then try to turn, which is sort of what you're doing, you've actually done the step incorrectly. Because what has to happen is as my foot goes, my body also has to turn, right? So say that with me again. As my foot goes, the body has to turn. This is also for the lady, but the man has to lead this and the lady follows it. So it's simultaneous. So we're not going to say CBM, we're going to say SBM, okay? Simultaneous body movement. So I'm trying to turn strongly, because it's the triple, right? As I step, and there's where my energy is. Do you understand? Now, by the way, this is not just because you hear this, you go, that's a great thing to understand. It's difficult when the lady's in front of you to do this, but you have to get used to lowering and then create that strong rotation and then come out. Do you understand? Now, ladies, this is where it's important for you, right, Elizabeth, to drive that right foot between the man's legs. So you've got to make sure that right foot is going on the heel, and then you can come around, brush, and then come out. So you need to drive well with a lot of energy. So you can imagine if you do that, and then Graham's a good man, and he turns his body at the same time as stepping, bang, he's going to have that nice energy, yeah? And remember, it should be different, and you won't need that amount for, say, a natural turn or a reverse turn, and you won't need that amount for a whisk. Do you understand? That's why it's good to think of this in the strength of the movement. So anything that has strong rotation, like a spin or pivots, you're going to have the triple amount of CBM. You're going to get that strength through the body, okay? Now, that doesn't mean you turn violent. It's just an understanding. Now, I'm going to say it one more time. Contra body movement happens on pretty much all first steps in ballroom dancing, okay? Step one, as a general rule, all right? It's only a few steps continue with CBM. You just use it on the first step and go in 99% of cases. When does it happen? Simultaneous to when you step. So here's when it's wrong. Let me show you again. If I step back and then try and turn, I've fucked it, right? It's wrong. You are throwing the lady way off. So again, if I step first and then decide to turn, wrong. Yeah? I'll do a natural turn badly, right? So if I go forward, look where my body is, and then I decide to turn, that's bad. Because I should do it as I step forward. So as I lower, my body's already turning. There, see that? I'll use my hand to help exemplify this. So I lower, there's my hand coming through. That's my CBM, right? So I've turned. So what you can do is with your legs, because these two things are underneath you, right, is you'll feel the leg as it's bending. That's actually rotating. So in one of the master classes I ran with Anthony Hurley, we talked about that, right? What happened? How do you create turn? Rotation. Where's the rotation? In the leg. So that's what generates all this turn. So if you are not turning well, you have to actually look at your legs and footwork, right? That has to come together. 1, and then 2, 3, lower, and then use the legs again, right? Lower 1. See, the body's going to work with that, right? Lower, use the body. 2, 3, lower 1, 2, 3. And what ends up happening is your body, it feels like a nice curve, even when you're going in a straight line. I hope that helps in terms of giving you some general feedback and some ideas. So focus on driving forward, but remember, the real outcome for both of you is to understand how to use CBM well, all right, and use it better. Now, the thing is, the problem for Dave is that you guys are so far apart, it's going to be much more difficult to feel that, because remember, the technique of ballroom dancing is to have a contact center and to feel that connection together. But it's not a downside. You can still, I dance all the time with my lady. In fact, I'll give you a side thing that just came to my brain then. A lot of the times I like to practice without the lady in contact with me. I'll have like a space. And what we're trying to do here is create balance. So the lady will be remaining on her own feet, on her own legs the whole time. So having space between you is a really, really good way to practice. But you just remember, when it comes to strong turns, like pivots and things, very hard to do without a contact point. Now, if we can look at this video one more time, really quickly up in here. Okay, see there? What did he do, people? What did he do? See the thing? Thank you for putting your body on the line, Graham. So you can see that if I get my little, oh good, you can see my mouse. He's stepped first. Where's his left side? Look at that bad boy. It's like hanging, it's actually at the exit. That left side should have already been coming around her. In fact, if that's count one of a spin turn, you're going, sorry, not spin turn, what's it called? A hesitation change, right? You should have already turned on that foot. So that's a technical error. Yeah, so that left foot should have already turned. That's the okay, cool. So much here. This is it's going to be a lot of information, but fuck it, right? So that first step there of your double reverse spin needs to be stronger. So and faster. So double reverse spin, just to bring it to what am I doing? There. Has to, what the hell? I don't know. Well, we'll just let that do its thing. So you can see my dining room error. Okay, so double reverse spin. All right. That first step goes 1, 2, and 3. So see the energy, right? CBM is the strongest on that first step. 1, 2, and 3. Then you lower. Now notice the knees. Then I can go 1 into the next step. So it's not 1, 2, 3. It's the most energy on the first part for the man, and then the lady is actually speeding up at the end. So for you, Elizabeth, you're going 1, 2, and 3. So the fastest part for you is actually on the third and fourth step. Okay, so if you can understand that, you're going 1, 2, and 3. Why? Because the man's doing a toe spin. He's on the spot. So there's actually a difference in that figure where you've got the man generating the energy on the first 2 steps, then calming down. You're moving on the first 2 steps and then speeding up on the last 2 steps. Understand that, and you'll see the step go woof and then calm. It's a wonderful figure. I love the double row spin. But I'm not going to lie to you all out there. It's a son of a bitch type of step. Wow, that's a bit too much Vaughan. There's a lot of Vaughan there. Okay, so what the hell? Let's go back onto this video. Screen. Just do that. Okay, so okay. I feel like I'm ripping you apart. When you do this is good for you though, for posterity. So this is your impetus turn, right? So you're going to need to be much faster on the first bit of that heel turn for you. Okay, this is for you, Graham. So when you go back, and we'll go up here for a second. Right. So when you go backwards into an impetus turn, you want to generate all that power on the first part. 1, then calm down 2, 3. You understand? So it's not 1, slowly turn like an old man, right? You want to generate the turn, and that way the lady can drive strongly forward. 1, 2, then calm down 3. Then pick up the energy for whatever the next step is. You understand? So again, it's a similar idea to the double reverse spin in a way. Hopefully by now you're starting to get start to see these sort of patterns emerging where to make the dancing work well, it's knowing timing, it's knowing technique, but it's knowing how to create the energy between 2 people, right? So why? Because if you're turning strongly on the first part of that step, like so CBM on step 1, very strong, the lady's gonna be able to get around you. So, like try it, like do your double reverse spin the way I just said, do your spin turn the way I just said, and do the impetus turn the way I just said, with the energy being the strongest triple shot on that first one, and watch how much time Elizabeth has to complete her step. Whereas if you take it too slowly on that first beat, she is going to struggle to get around you, and then you're going to fight, right? And you'll be like, oh, that explains why it feels like that, all right? And that what was the lesson there? It's actually the use of CBM on that first step, isn't it? That makes it different. So you're using, in that instance, the normal amount of CBM for that turn, whereas you actually need stronger CBM. Make sense? Okay. So I'm going to leave it there. I want to thank you all for sending in these videos. And again, if I could just keep going on this, I don't want to feel like I'm shredding you to pieces because you have a, like people would agree, you have a very nice look about you. One thing on the frame that's I want to hit on for all men, you have to be very diligent in the way. So remember, what do we talk about with ballroom dancing? Poise, balance, and then rhythm. So if we look at poise, your arms are a part of balance. So if your right arm, if you watch it, is often moving, the shoulders coming forward like that. So you're going to need to work at keeping your elbow and the distance from your sternum or the back of your spine to your elbow needs to remain the same no matter what step you're doing. Okay, so if I'm to dance, right, that arm there is not going to change and shape shift because of what the lady's doing. So you're going to be very diligent on this because it's hard. It's very hard. Left hand is another problem, but it's not as big as the right. So that right hand, you're going to have to do a lot of practice. And it's good to practice sometimes just with the right arm and think of it as actually going away from the movement when you're doing, say, something like promenade, right? So if I want to go on a promenade, right, boom, I'm going to get that elbow to stay the same distance, and I'm going to get it to go that way. Think of it going backwards, even though I'm going sideways. Do you understand? Why? Well, because you're going to pull the lady in front of you. That's not a good thing. She needs to stay in her house over here, okay? And never the houses meet, right? So anyways, practice that. That's part of the frame side of things. I hope you had fun, okay? Went down a rabbit hole on that, but it's your fault. You sent me the videos, so yay. And let me know how you progress, how you keep going. And of course, you're gonna have more questions. And guess what? When you fix one problem, the next problem appears, but that's okay. Because if you solve the right problem, well, then you're getting somewhere, aren't you? Right? So once we get the problem identified and we start solving it, we actually move to a new level in our dancing, which is fantastic, okay? Thank you for being here. Live or in the replay, please leave me a comment below. If someone could drop the time codes in this, that would be always appreciated. And I look forward to seeing you, of course, in the next set of videos. Thank you very much.